Welcome everybody to another WrestleSpin podcast, TV spin, whatever, slide spin. This is CrystalFissure with Nintendogen64, and we're here to talk about WrestleMania 31, or I guess just WrestleMania. You know, that'd be easy to find in the tags. We just type in WrestleMania review because apparently they don't like calling it 31 anymore, so people call it WrestleMania Play or Play
31
Run.
is so old, man. You have
Oh
to
man,
realize this, that most people who are watching wrestling aren't even 31, you know.
yeah.
How can
Yeah.
wrestling be older than people watching it?
I mean, that's got to turn people off the product
Oh,
immediately.
it's so old. I mean, look at Breaking Bad. They only came out in 2008.
Oh, gosh.
Wrestling is so old. I mean, you don't ever hear them talking about like Hack and Schmidt versus Gotch or whatever.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. One of the greatest matches in history, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. I know, yeah.
No match on this card can compare to Hacker and Schmidt versus Gotch, so I think you can switch off now and go watch that match.
Well, yeah, why not?
All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Good night.
And welcome back from that ad break. And yeah, let's get into it because we've only been talking to each other for about, literally it says 5 minutes and 22 seconds. We haven't even discussed what we even thought about WrestleMania.
No, this is
a live
Yeah.
kind of real reactions type thing immediately. Let's go ahead. Now, did you see the pre-show battle royal?
I did watch.
Okay.
I watched the tag match and the battle royal.
Okay, all right. So cool. We'll start with the tag.
Well,
Go ahead.
the tag match was it was okay. I mean, like Tyson Kidd and Cesaro retained. I don't think I called that mostly because I thought they won't. You know why?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised.
It was such a spot fest, that match, though. Like, it was, I couldn't really get into it that much. Like, it seemed quite short and it seemed very spotty, and like I couldn't really they just.
It was the second shortest match on the card.
Yeah, what was the shortest? The Divas match?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I skipped the Divas match. So
I missed it as well because of my thing screwing out. So
yeah,
it wasn't intentional. Yeah, so yeah, that match, I think it's a solid like way to begin a pre-show. Like I think there's no fault having this match on the pre-show card because you've got some valuable competitors here. Glad to see Tyson Kidd and Cesaro not only retain but also get a great pop from the crowd as well.
they did. They were the most over. I was very surprised about that.
Like New Day, like I can't believe what's happened. Like you've taken these three like over. Well, I mean Xavier isn't really over in WWE, but he was in NXT. They've taken these three over guys basically, and now they're like pretty violently hated by the crowd. Like
I know. Right?
like people are just rejecting this New Day gimmick, and I don't blame them because their whole gimmick is New Day. It's like there's nothing to it, and yet the problem with that is that they're going to take the booing as we don't like these guys. It's unlike with like people's dislike with Reigns, which is more of a personal thing. People really dislike the gimmick and not the people. I don't know anyone that dislikes Kofi Kingston.
No,
Let's be honest.
exactly. But I mean, the gimmick of the New Day is very undefined, and that's something people find difficult to get into. It's like, is it a black power gimmick, or is it a
Gospel church singing?
Gospel church? Is it superheroes? Like, no one really knows what it is.
No, and that's the problem. So I'm glad they didn't win. I know it's a typical IWC thing to say, but please turn them heel. Please.
Well, something.
Please just put them in red. Seriously, like.
Yeah, you know what I was saying in our predictions and previous shows. Like my catchphrase was, "Please give me something." Yeah. I'd say, "Please give me something" with these guys. Yeah. They're not really doing anything. They sort of just had like an intro voiceover thing, and then they came out and then the match was over, and the tag team champions retained. Yes. Like I said, there wasn't much story here. There was just a bunch of like things happening very quickly. The crowd was into it enough, I guess.
Yeah, it was good.
Fine.
I was glad to see that.
Fine match.
Now, the complaints for that match are nothing compared to.
I knew you were gonna complain.
Oh man, this next thing.
You're talking the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yes. Now, remember how we made that joke about the Big Show? Like on the podcast. Yes. I'm sure all millions of you guys watching, you know what I'm talking about here. I mean, a part of me had a feeling, but then this is effectively the biggest way to kill a crowd. Like this is, I get the whole Big Show, he's a giant, just like Andre, that kind of thing. Oh, give him his WrestleMania moment. But let me tell you, if this match was placed anywhere else in the card, it would kill the next like match or two.
Yeah.
Seriously, I swear. Like the reason why I think the reason why they put it on the pre-show was the mere fact that it would have killed like people. I mean, you the how it happened,
Yeah.
how what happened in that match effectively was almost like take away the consequence of what winning the Royal Rumble means, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously win the title match. In terms of what actually happened, that was even worse than the Royal Rumble. That was like Vince McMahon personally going up to every single person that bought the show and saying, "Fuck you, we have your money." Like that's what it was like for me. Like I'll give you a list of the people he eliminated. He
Give me a
eliminated the New
list.
Day.
Yep.
I don't actually have a list. He eliminated Ryback.
Yeah, he did. My guy.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh, damn it. He eliminated Ryback. He eliminated Mizdow. He eliminated fucking Hideo Itami.
Oh yes.
Pissed me. That was just fucking bullshit. Like, and you know what pisses me off even more
What?
was just how the condescending, like anyone in WWE, and I'll bring that up to a later date actually because it's relevant. How condescending the commentary team slash the WWE culture is to anyone else that is not from there. Kenta, welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah, I
Fuck
know.
you, Cole. Fuck you. Kenta, sorry, Hideo Itami is more accomplished in terms in the professional wrestling world than half the people in that goddamn match. So they can shut the fuck up, as far as I'm concerned.
I
Like,
knew I was watching it. I'm like, oh my god, I know Conley's gonna complain about this, and
yeah,
I have like a mental list of everything I know you're gonna complain about already. I've got like
let's see how it
I've got
goes.
like a predetermined like I'm not gonna say what they are because then you may or may not complain about them. But I knew the
No,
Big
if
Show winning was be one of them. Was Zack Ryder getting eliminated one of them? Like in such a
that was one thing. Like, I mean I know. I mean, I knew it was going to be eliminated. I'm just glad he wasn't first eliminated.
yeah. Well,
So,
okay. You were gonna complain about Curtis Axel getting eliminated in such a
oh
fashion.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
yes.
knew I knew that one was
I
coming.
mean, I get the gimmick. I know it's like, but I don't know. I feel like he just had a little bit longer. On the positive hand, at least he did get to do his thing, and the crowd popped pretty huge for the Axel Mania.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did. Yeah.
but that, like, honestly, like, it's just funny because the crowd reactions on this show, which is 76,000 people there, with
Yeah.
huge attendance, it doesn't show you that, I mean, despite it being of a more smarky nature, you can pick out the people that are well liked and you can pick out how a crowd is going to react. And they booed so many things. And Vince is in his head and he's probably thinking, wow, man, what a great booking decision. Damn it. The Big Show, he's a giant. You
Hmm.
know, like, and he's just ignoring everything else. He's ignoring how over Ryback is. He's ignoring that Hideo Itami, someone that has not even appeared on a main show,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
got a huge pop.
And even a chant going. They start chanting
They,
Hideo.
they got a chant going when there are 30 other people in the ring, just about.
Yeah, I know.
That
Zack
is
Ryder
impressive. The only other person that could do that in the match, I'm pretty sure, was Mizdow. And then
got featured.
later on, Ryback got one, but Ryback was one of the last people. I'm saying, like, at the beginning,
Oh yeah.
people noticed him. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's fucking fair play, honestly. I said this before, but I think we already the podcast was up, but I said after when Hideo won, right, the tournament to get in,
Yeah.
I was actually incredibly happy because I thought, okay, yeah, Balor would be cool at WrestleMania, but I don't think he's gonna get the entrance,
Mm.
and I don't think they're gonna. I think he's
No one
gonna
got
be
the
eliminated
entrance.
early. Yeah, early. Exactly, no one got the entrance. I don't think he was gonna be eliminated. I think he's gonna be eliminated early. So having someone like Hideo there leaves an amazing first impression. He's the guy that needs like the most backing
Mm.
from the management because of his restrictive English language and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And I don't know, it's something about him is just really endearing. I don't know. I felt really, really just happy for him going out there, like seeing him walk. Like I saw a photo of him walking down the ramp. And I don't know. I just felt like I was like, fuck yeah, this is brilliant. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just thought it was a great moment, and I'm glad he got his moment. But like the Big Show, no.
I was like, I was saying to my brother, I was like, what does WWE owe the Big Show? Like, what the fuck? Why does he? I mean, I like, I said this before, and I suppose this sort of makes sense. if you have Mizdow come close to winning it but not actually winning it, then you have somewhere to go with him, and I think he and Miz will now feud. And I really really liked it that when Mizdow like at the end of the match turned on the Miz, they stopped cheering Mizdow and started cheering Sandow.
Yeah,
Like that was great.
because he's got to work his way back to his own identity. Because that would be the death of him if he remains as Mizdow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's not Mizdow. Like the reality is that he is Damien Sandow. So the crowd's like, it's a good start if the crowd picked up. Yeah. He's not Mizdow. He is Sandow.
Exactly.
Especially now that he's detached himself from the Miz. He is Sandow.
That was a great moment actually when the Miz was like starting to poke Sandow, and he was
Honestly,
like,
this is great.
and he was
He is
shaking
great.
his head, and then he throws the Miz out to a huge reaction, especially for a pre-show. Like he was getting some serious reactions for a pre-show.
Oh yeah, big time.
And then obviously I thought they were going to do the Chris Benoit Royal Rumble 2004 spot where Big Show like is in like a front face lock position and Sandow like had him over the top rope, but then they didn't do that and they had a Big Show end up winning the match. Whatever. I mean I'm not so pissed the Big Show won. Like it doesn't bother me as much because the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is nothing. It's
No, it's nothing, but it's just the people that he eliminated made the match more boring.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, but
like,
like this had potential, but I think as soon as you moved it to the pre-show, this was gonna die a death anyway.
well, yeah, that's the reality, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. If this was any other, if this, like, put it this way, right? Like, as I said, if this took place anywhere else in the card, people would be even more furious than they were
Oh, and
because that would be a main show slot with a disgraceful winner.
were you also going to complain that the Big Show once again uses Eric Rowan as his personal job guy and threw him over the top rope again?
Jesus Christ. Oh,
Poor
that's
Eric.
another guy he eliminated. Yeah, who? And he eliminated.
All of the New Day, which was a bullshit.
Yeah, that's just stupid. Like, who the hell does it get over? Like, it gets no one over. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I bloody hope Big Show comes out tomorrow and goes, I'm retiring.
yeah,
And it
it
gets,
felt like that sort of.
like, 'cause that's the only way I could feel like this would even be fucking worth it.
Yeah, it did sort of feel like a send-off type match.
And if it was, I forgive it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Anyway, now the show properly started with the Intercontinental Championship ladder match, which I thought that Randy Orton and Seth Rollins would start the show, but
No, I think that was effectively to kind of keep the crowd a little bit. Get the Daniel Bryan out the way.
yeah, I mean, it didn't bother me that this match
Didn't
started.
bother me, yeah.
But I'll tell you the first thing I noticed when they transitioned from pre-show to main show, and you probably noticed this too, is that the fucking sun was still up. Always, watching WrestleManias that are outdoors, always associate the daylight with the pre-show. Because by the time they get to the main show, it's usually dark or
Yeah,
darkening.
very much true.
This this WrestleMania show stayed bright all the way up until after the final entrances were done for the main event. Even Undertaker's match, when he came out, it was still daylight.
Yeah, and see that did kill a bit of the mood.
For me,
Um,
I think this WrestleMania lost a bit of feeling for me. Like, I mean, a bit of like its essence. When
Honestly, they need retractable roofs.
you need to have, I mean, the darkness really makes the WrestleMania. They didn't do the Bray Wyatt, Firefly entrance with his like the.
No, and that I mean, everything felt in general, and when we get to the match, yeah, I'll elaborate, but everything in general felt not amateurish. Obviously, the production value is phenomenal. It
Yeah,
always is.
yeah.
But like something about it just felt like kind of like
Off.
almost, remember that event we were watching, that New Japan event that we are watching? I didn't have commentary,
Yeah, yeah.
and like it was like the wrestling was still good, but it was kind of like it just kind of felt a little bit like it wasn't bad, but something was just off.
Yeah.
It's like the coloring, and
Yes.
the lighting. It actually has an effect.
Well, the pyro as well. Like the opening pyro to the show was at daytime, and it just looked like smoke was going up into the air. You couldn't.
Yeah.
This show reminded me of there was this WCW show called Hog Wild, which was set outside at the daytime, and everyone was like on their motorbikes watching the show. It was like set at some kind of motorbike park thing, and the entire show was light for that. It felt like WCW Hog Wild, which is the strangest comparison to make. And
Thank you,
just,
Johnny.
I just really just sort of felt I don't know. There was just something missing when
Yeah, something missing from the atmosphere.
it felt like WrestleMania 9.
Yeah.
which was bright the entire time as well. And that WrestleMania is considered the worst WrestleMania of all time, so that's something.
So, so Brian wins. Brian gets a great pop. Ziggler gets a great pop. Loved Barrett doing his little move there. Loved the whole Ambrose power bomb spot. But still, I don't want to. I'm sorry to be negative, but the ladder match just did not. The similar way to you felt about the ladder match with Ziggler and what's his name, and Harper.
Yeah.
It just felt like it just didn't all connect. Like it was a bunch of interconnecting shots that didn't. Well, no, sorry, like disconnected spots that kind of all came together.
I
Like
didn't really feel this match at all. Like,
it didn't feel cohesive. There wasn't really a massive story being told, except for towards the end, which was great. You're not all bad parts were bad. I was definitely
no,
sports
it wasn't a
entertained.
terrible match at all. But it just you know, I said about the Harper match, and you were saying just now, like things happened, but they didn't feel like it was a full-on match. It just was a spot fest, basically. And actually, I sort of felt a similar way to this match as I did to the first one, the tag match, where it was just things happening without any sort of story, anything you could get invested in, anything to really connect to. And that, you know, it was okay. It was fine, but it was nothing. I'm not going to probably remember this match like 5 months from now.
Yeah, spot wise, I've got nothing except for the headbutting war at the end.
Oh, that
And
was this match had too much of a guy gets to the top and reaches for it, and he could easily pull it down, but he's got to
yeah,
wait for the other guy to come.
yeah. I mean, to be honest,
Yeah.
let's be honest here. The match needed more Shelton Benjamin.
Well,
You know,
it
it,
needed
it
some.
needed that it needed that wow spot. Like
Mhm.
Ambrose was meant to be the wow spot, and it just came across like he fucking injured himself.
Yeah,
That's like it looked if you look see him land in his head, like ugh,
it
that
was.
was
It wasn't as like epic as it should have been. It sort of felt like he had hurt himself, and I was more concerned about him than I was like.
yeah. Rather than the spot going like holy shit. Well, with Benjamin when he did those crazy spots, including one similar to that, except way more extravagant, you didn't think about you thought he's probably hurting from that, but you never thought oh shit is he all right? More
Yeah,
like
yeah,
wow that was impressive, what a bump. Like
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
a diff, and there is a small but subtle difference to it. I think. I think you'd agree
it takes
to
you
the
out of
way
it
that the
takes you out of
spot.
the match when you are legitimately concerned for someone.
Yeah, that's it.
You know,
But
I was sort of pissed off at the way like this match played out as well because I just the Shield was supposed to all be like you were supposed to think, okay, well none of these guys are really like they're not standout. They're all tremendous and they're all going to go into successful careers. I just really think this is a massive bump in the road for Dean Ambrose. You know,
yeah,
biggest pop of this match. He got a bigger pop when he came out than Daniel Bryan did, if you ask me.
yeah, very close, very close.
But I just feel like they totally are going out of their way not to highlight this guy at all. Like,
No, I think yeah. See, I agree. I think that they honestly they killed his pop intention. I don't know. It's again conspiracy, but like with the whole Reigns thing, they killed his pop during that whole like thing. They took him out for months,
yeah.
right? Never gave him a proper finish against Rollins. And then cooled him off and made him lose like basically every pay-per-view
Including this
while
one.
while Reigns looks strong. I know the memes. It sounds like a joke. Like people say, "Oh yeah, I'm sick and tired of you dissing Reigns." But like, if you look at the way the build happened, it was positioned so Reigns could like do all this and be like this number one face guy, while like Ambrose did very little of note.
Yeah.
He stole the title. That's what he did. He
That
stole the title.
yeah.
He lost every single pay-per-view since the Shield split up, whether it's by DQ or not. He lost. And then like people like Ziggler got fired, Ryback got fired. These were guys that were quite over and had gotten really over since Survivor Series. It's very clear that Ziggler's Survivor Series spot was meant to go to Reigns.
Of course, yeah, definitely.
So they called him off. They called Ambrose off. And Ambrose is lucky that he still gets the pop. But if he keeps going the way he's going, he will slowly lose it. I mean, Zack Ryder used to get pops of the night. Now he still gets a good pop. Dean Ambrose will always get a good pop.
Yep.
But it will diminish. It will slowly diminish if they don't keep on this guy. And they need to keep on him. I really hope they keep on him because he's good.
Yeah, precisely. Now, I think that there were too many just non-factors in this match. Like,
Truth.
the truth, Barrett, even for me.
What the hell was the point of having Stardust?
Yeah,
Jesus
Harper,
Christ.
Stardust, like these. It really was only in my mind possible that you could have Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, or Dean Ambrose win this match. Like, what the fuck was the point of R-Truth? Honestly, whoever for a second thought he would win this match? You know what? The only thing R-Truth did was take away Dean Ambrose's heat, because Dean Ambrose was the guy who started that whole title belt stealing fiasco, and then R-Truth got in on that, and then sort of like, from there on out, it was like everyone was going to grab the title away from.
If it wasn't for R-Truth, give Divas a chance, and they would have trended.
That's true, but I mean, this match, this is the IWC's favorite match of the night. Probably it was okay. I think this was possibly slightly worse than Dolph Ziggler versus Luke Harper.
Well, I think it's worse because of how many amazing talents they had.
Yeah.
Or like, because I even think that, like I like Luke Harper. I even like R-Truth. Like, I think they can all have their own like use, but it just didn't. It didn't come together.
It didn't click.
Obviously, yeah. So Brian won, and that was a good moment. I'm glad that he got a moment.
Yeah.
I hope the IC title is elevated now. I hope he basically Shinsuke Nakamura's it, where he basically elevates it to where it's actually on the same level, just about, as the IWGP. Heavyweight title,
or the WWE World Heavyweight title,
or the WWE World Heavyweight title, or like basically like what they did in New Japan, where they have, one like the IC title is usually considered less, but they build it up and build it up. And Daniel Bryan, I think, is a good champ there. Mm-hmm. Like something feels different about Bryan holding it compared to Ziggler.
Yeah, I know, because Bryan's never held it before, and he's a guy who was main eventing last year, and he seems like a bigger star than Ziggler, therefore, is more special.
Yeah, so we'll see where this goes. I think ultimately the finish and the result of the match leaves us with some interesting prospects. So
yes,
not all negative.
By the way, I am at the moment. If you want to just talk about main roster predictions, I am 1 for 1 at the moment.
I think me too. Yeah.
Yeah, we're both 1 for 1. Now, next match: Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins in a pretty good singles match.
Yeah.
I quite liked. In fact, the finish was. I loved the finish of this match. Fantastic.
Yeah, finish was honestly. I mean, that final maneuver was just.
That's all.
That was incredible. Honestly, that's a Mania moment.
I legitimately popped at that moment.
Yeah. So did I.
So basically, what happens is it's a good match. It's just it's a solid match, and then you get to the end where Randy Orton is in the curb stomp position. Seth Rollins goes to do the curb stomp, except instead of going down with his foot, Randy Orton springs up, elevating Rollins up into the air, then hits him with the RKO midair. Fantastic spot. The crowd popped for it big time. I mean, I think that this is one of those where you'll only really remember that spot. You won't really remember the match too much.
Yeah.
You ask me? It was a solid match. Like, all these matches seem to be like they gave him enough time. It wasn't a matter of you gave one.
Every single singles match went over 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. I thought it was around 9.
Pretty much the median time is 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's quite good actually. I'm very happy.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, with what comes on later, I really feel like they needed to give an extra match on that card, and that should have been Goldust and Stardust. But
yeah, I think so too.
Even if it was only 7 or 8 minutes, but yeah, we'll talk about it later. So then you got that. What was next?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's not too much to say about that apart from the finish, which was good. Randy Orton wins this match. Like I said, this is now 2 for 2 now. I predicted that Randy Orton would win this.
Did I say Randy Orton? Yeah, I think
I believe you did, yeah. I think you said Randy Orton by disqualification or something, which is still Randy Orton.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, let's move on to the most disappointing match of the night. For me personally.
Oh my god!
This was the pits. This was the shits. Triple H defeating Sting in a piss poor match. Oh my god! Where do I possibly begin?
Oh yeah, this is bad. And
you start.
I mean, I am disappointed that so many people thought this was good.
Did people think this was good?
There were people saying, you know what, it was just a good, fun nostalgia trip.
No.
You know what? Fuck off. Because okay, on one hand, you can say, well, at least we were surprised, because I don't think anyone really expected Triple H to win.
No.
But then you have to remember something. It's
that?
Triple H.
Yes.
Okay, it's Triple H. And there's so many things wrong with this. And I'm just going to start with the final thing first before we go into the rest.
Yeah.
The shaking of the hands, right?
Oh my god.
Did you think that would piss me off?
Yes, that was actually I was going to say you're going to be annoyed by that.
Now, I'll tell you why that pissed me off so much is because you think, great, okay, fine. Sting loses, they get the handshake, WCW versus WWE is over, and whatever. And then the next segment is Triple H in a heel promo.
Against The Rock.
I
Oh
just,
my
oh,
God. What the hell was... No, you know what? That wasn't what annoyed me most about the handshake moment.
oh, that
Is
wasn't, no, I mean, yeah.
No, I mean, like, what the fuck was that? Okay, so now you're telling me that Triple H, who after he beat Sting, is now proud of Sting for
Yeah,
some
I mean,
reason
oh my God.
because Sting had the balls to show up, which he said he would do. I honestly now this is I watched this entire show with my brother who also hated this match for many reasons. He was going on about the fact that Sting was too old. I was like, no, I reckon Sting's gonna go. Sting was fucked after like 5 minutes. You know,
I, I
you
didn't
disagree?
notice him being as bad as you did.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Well, a question for you. Why do you think they had to have DX and NWO come into this match?
well,
It was
yeah,
because Sting couldn't go that long.
yeah, no,
This match should have been 10 minutes. It should have been a clean match between
oh,
Sting and
you're
Triple
totally,
H,
you're totally right. You're
telling a
totally,
story. But that was my thing. I'll start with my first problem with this match. What the hell was the story going
entrance.
into this?
Oh,
Oh
right.
no, I'm talking before the match began. The story was confusing. I had no idea what was going on.
Was it WCW versus WWF? Was it what was it the last remaining vestige of WCW? Was it like being a vigilante?
Mm,
Was it the fact that he wanted to come to WWE? Was it because Triple H was a bully? At first, it seems like it's because Triple H is a prick,
yeah,
right? But then all of a sudden,
yeah.
it's like about WCW,
But
and that was the whole intention of the NWO versus
yeah, I know that.
DX thing.
But the promo
But didn't
before
make
the
any
match
sense.
made Triple H look like a face because he was talking about how no everyone had come and gone, but he had stayed there and he'd built up, WWE to what it is today, and it's considering it's at WrestleMania in kayfabe, it should sort of make sense that Triple H is the face because he is the WWE guy and WCW lost, and now Sting looks like he's doing the opposite of the NWO coming into WCW, where he's
Yeah.
coming into WWE to shake things up. I didn't quite get it. And then they had okay. Now here's the first problem with the actual match comes when Sting comes out to a crappy, weird, like Asian drum entrance that totally like you couldn't hear his theme at all. It totally killed the crowd noise for me.
He still got a great, he still got a good reaction overall, but it was quite heavily subdued.
Yeah, and then Triple H comes out to the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen
Oh,
with
oh,
this weird
oh.
Terminator entrance where like he has like all the T2000s from Terminator come out of the
I
ground.
mean, now you do know that this was paid for. This was
Oh yeah,
essentially a product
this
placement.
was a product placement, yeah, from the film Terminator Genesis. So he comes out in this embarrassing looking mask thing, and then my brother audibly laughed when he saw the guys have to take the costume off him because it looked ridiculous. And then anyway, so they if you were a nobody, like not nobody, if you were a newcomer to WWE, this is the first thing you saw, and you saw this segment here, you would think that Triple H is the big star and Sting is some nobody, basically.
And
That's the problem.
isn't that the problem? And rather, isn't that the point? Because Triple H and Vince booked this, or
Oh,
I'm not saying, or maybe I'm not saying it as an absolute authority. Obviously, Vince did; he's in charge, but Triple H would have been involved, of course. People that like to say, "Oh, Triple H is involved in the creative process," like the guy was sitting in the writers' room, dating back to like 1998 or something crazy like that. So shut up.
yeah.
All right, he was clearly involved. And then you've got the fact that he gets this kind of shitty Japanese sort of entrance, and if they wanted to do like a Japanese inspired entrance, like I don't know, they could have done something way more creative than what they did. He walks out to very little kind of fanfare,
Yeah.
and then Triple H gets this massive big entrance,
And the
and
crowd pops for him as well for
the
some
crowd
reason.
pops because they pop for stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
And yet, to me, like to me, this is Vince all over it saying, "Damn it, I got WCW." Like it seemed like he just bitterness carried over. Like, oh, yep, well, you came from WCW, you're gonna be destroyed. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what it seemed like to me. Like,
Yeah.
fuck you, WCW. The commentary reflect that. The commentary, the good guys win. Oh, shut up.
Um,
They tried to make it seem like Triple H was a face at the end there,
it felt
despite
like he was a
cheating.
face. I mean, the fact that even like he offered his hand out to shake.
Oh, it's disgraceful. It's classic. It is such classic Triple H going over legends, going over everyone. Like this is the shit that everyone talks about when they talk about the Reign of Terror, when they talk about 2003 to 2004, when he went over all those WCW guys. This is exactly what he's talking about. And then where he makes it like he's the better man by shaking the hand.
Yeah, I know, right? And so,
How does anyone get invested in that? How does anyone? And I'm glad the crowd booed that shit.
yeah,
I'm glad they booed the handshake because that did not deserve a pop.
yeah,
Like,
I know what you're saying. Now, let me run this match down, and I'll go through, my opinions of it as it went. First of all, I thought, okay, fine, some chain wrestling. I thought it was okay. It was a good way to sort of start the match off and see
great.
Sting actually wrestle in the ring. I thought that was okay. And then after a while, like Sting goes for the Scorpion, was it the Scorpion Deathlock? Yeah. And, Triple H sort of gets out of the ring. I thought that was the moment that the match sort of went downhill a bit for me. Because, with Sting sort of selling and selling and selling, like, because he took the brunt of the attacks from Triple H after this point. To me, it did look like he was getting very tired very easily, and basically the entire like image was like sort of lost of Sting when like you see his hair is totally balding and thinning all over the place, and his makeup started to come off. He looked like he was super old, super tired. It couldn't, when he tried to put the Scorpion Deathlock on again, he couldn't get it in right. He didn't bend his knees at all.
Yeah,
it looked weak as, and the image of Triple H and the Scorpion Deathlock with Sting, it looked phony. It looked like. Have you ever seen that E60 thing where Scott Hall is like totally drunk and like tries to knock that guy out? It sort of reminded me of that. It's like this is kayfabe shattering. Like how would anyone possibly believe this? Anyway, so then to save it, I guess, or it was obviously pre-planned, or they knew Sting's limitations. They had DX come out. Okay, fine. DX is coming out. They're Triple H's friends. Next, NWO comes out. Now this is a huge problem for me. Because anyone who knows anything about WCW or the history...
We weren't even watching at this point, we know.
No, yeah, knows that fucking Starrcade 1997, right? Sting main evented against Hulk Hogan. Keyword there, against Hulk Hogan. Now, he was aligned with the NWO at one point, but that was like the NWO 2000, like the later NWO.
Yes.
When they were sort of quasi-faces. But this was like... This made no sense at all. It was just like, well, people know the NWO, so let's bring them out and they can face up against DX. Okay, now fine if you want to go that way, but who's in the fucking NWO? Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, who previously
part of the clique.
The night before we saw Triple H celebrating on the Hall of Fame stage with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. So
this is the ultimate where and like this was the response I got on Reddit a lot. They go, you know what? You know why this happened? Because wrestling isn't really quoted the Max Landis wrestling isn't wrestling thing, like as if it's like some kind of gospel. Now I love that thing, by the way, but like okay, you can't use that as an excuse for poor booking and not making nonsensical shit. Because wrestling can be nonsensical, but like this is like flat out logic breaking in terms of how it worked.
The history of things. If you're any sort of wrestling historian, you'll think to yourself,
yeah, this is a parody of itself.
Wait a second. If you think for more than 5 seconds, you'll think that, wait a second, Sting was never really aligned with this incarnation of the NWO.
Now, they could have even fixed it if even like before the match began or like backstage or in the weeks following, right? He brings up the NWO and say, I've patched things up off screen, or like even though that would be illogical still. If somehow they made reference to the fact that the NWO has actually kind of like, they're like, okay, I've actually been talking to those guys, I forgive them. Like, I'm not trying to book here, but I'm saying like some way of trying to sort of build, oh, good night, yeah. Some way try and, book it around like making the NWO actually be able to be teamed up with Sting, then it would make sense. Even if it was really sloppy.
Even if they said, maybe on one episode of Raw when Triple H was running down WCW, they came out to defend it or something.
They said, we may be WWE, but we love WCW.
Yeah, we'll put aside our differences for WCW. Something to actually make you think for a second that. But I suppose they wanted it to be a bit of a surprise when it happened. And then obviously, Shawn Michaels came out as well.
Oh God, I hate him.
At that point, I was like, I'm done with this match. This is jump the shark at this point. And then on top of all that, Triple H gets the win with a sledgehammer to the face.
Yeah.
And
Half
after that,
sledgehammer, basically.
yeah, oh yeah, another bullshit moment that me and my brother hilariously laughed at was when you can imagine this, right? Triple H he has his sledgehammer out, and Sting perfectly cuts it in half by hitting
Yeah.
his baseball bat on it.
Me,
How does that work?
me and my it's funny, like this was at this point my friend before the match, my friend Hefo came over, and he's not a wrestling fan, is, and I quote, Brock Lesnar is a ball bag.
Mhm.
That's literally all he said about wrestling pretty much ever.
Yeah.
He was just like, he thought this was hilarious, like, but in that slightly embarrassing way.
This was embarrassing. If you're a wrestling fan, watching this with a friend is embarrassing.
Well, thank you, Angus, because that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, oh god, I mean, this was everything that I thought this match wouldn't be, and everything I was hoping it wouldn't be.
I wouldn't have even minded a couple interferences, maybe at the end or something like that, or I don't know. It's like
Maybe just
maybe
Shawn
after the
Michaels
match.
come in or something like that.
Yeah, like I don't know, like Shawn Michaels was just too much.
Did we really have to see Kevin Nash twice on this show, by the way?
Yeah,
The
right.
Hall
Yeah.
of Fame thing and this, it wasn't enough for Kevin Nash to main event the Hall of Fame over Randy Savage, but he also had that come out for this segment. Fuck it, this was bad. This was bad. When you say wrestling at its, I've often said when wrestling's good, I quite enjoy it, and I'm proud to say that that's a good segment. When it's bad, this is the stuff that embarrasses you to say in public that you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I mean,
This was just 40, 50-year-old men in their 40s, 50s, and even 60s now, having fun, doing little for money.
pretty much.
Oh god, this was horrible. The match didn't tell a story. The match Sting was gassed quite early on. It was next. Let's talk about the next segment.
I mean, just quickly, I've also just on quick analysis of the Hall of Fame. I mean, like just really quickly, I felt like they kind of, I don't know. I felt like that was a bit of a load of bullshit as well. Like with the whole, I don't know. I just thought Kevin Nash main eventing, it was a little bit meh.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now we may as well talk about the Hall of Fame. I mean, did they mention it next? I think it was next, or it was maybe a bit after that. But like, did you watch the Hall of Fame yesterday?
Yes, and I will say that wholeheartedly, the person that should have main evented it, Tatsumi Fujinami, incredible speech.
It was an amazing speech. I didn't understand.
No, I'm not actually gonna lie here. I almost teared up during his speech for some reason. I'm actually not I don't know. I have this. This is a weird thing, right? I have this weird thing about Japanese people talking emotionally, like in broken English.
Yeah.
I just thought it was tragic in this funny way. Like, what does he go like? I fight to live or something. I don't know. I was starting to get emotional about it. I'm like, fuck yeah, I love this guy. Like,
I thought Larry Zbysko's speech was amazing, by the way.
Bushwhackers
Were okay. Rikishi's speech was fine.
Except for the fact that he did not mention
Scotty Tuati or Brian Christopher. Alundra Blaze's speech was amazing. That was a really good speech. Did you see that one?
What one?
Alundra Blaze's.
Yes, she was very good.
Kevin Nash's speech was okay. I thought the worst speech of the night, in my opinion, was Lanny Poffo's speech.
Oh, people quite like that too.
Did they? I don't know. Just like if you know about like Lanny Poffo and you know about like his sort of like the whole thing about how he wanted the whole Poffo family to go into the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. It's like it was Randy's dying wish. It was Randy's wish that not just him but the entire Poffo family, my father Angelo Poffo and my mother, went in the Hall of Fame. Then did you see like it's like, oh, did any of you see the Macho Man DVD? Did you see Mom on it? Wasn't she great? Like he's got this weird thing for his mother. Does Lanny Puffer. The poem was cool. I like the fact how he altered the Macho King coronation poem to like fit in with it.
That's cool. Yeah.
And Kevin Nash's speech was fine as well. Yeah. I thought, but I couldn't sit through the whole thing. I had to skip around a bit. It was like way too long. Anyway, give Divas a chance because they certainly didn't. Again, a shitty middle of the card Divas match that didn't really accomplish anything. And I actually skipped this match because my brother didn't want to watch it.
I'm disappointed that Paige didn't get the pin, but
Yeah, no, it was a submission victory by. Hey, I predicted this. I'm 3 for 4 now. I think you
yeah.
predicted the Bella twins to win this.
No, I think I predicted AJ.
I don't think so. I said I'd predict AJ and Page, and you're like, really?
I don't. I actually am just gonna say I didn't pick anyone there because I was just like, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I genuinely didn't know who is gonna win that.
Mm,
So yeah, whatever.
whatever.
Then it comes out there, wasn't there like
There was a segment with The Rock, Triple H, and
oh
Stephanie
my
McMahon.
no, that took place after.
Oh, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that took place up. No, so then what we've got is we have didn't we have like apparently there's like a segment with I actually missed this because it skipped in something.
Oh,
Like
Daniel
something
Bryan.
happened. I missed the Pat Patterson, Roddy Piper, Steamboat, Ric Flair, Bret Hart.
Oh, I mean, that was just a backstage segment where they all came and congratulated.
Damn.
They congratulated what's his name, Daniel Bryan, on winning the Intercontinental Championship match. I would want to talk about the John Cena match, but I want to talk about the Stephanie McMahon segment
Oh
because
God, I'm just
this was the number one thing on my list I knew you'd complain about.
yeah. Use it.
You hate Stephanie McMahon
Yes.
for some just actual genuine loathing reason,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew you'd complain about her talking about like whatever she talked about here.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And
you are 100% correct.
yeah, I knew it. You've got like predetermined sort of hate.
But please, Angus, please tell me you didn't like
It
it.
was okay. I mean, she annoys me. She just annoys me.
Yeah.
I think it's funny when she comes out and like tries to trade barbs with The Rock when The Rock is someone who people would recognize in the street, and she is basically outside of professional wrestling and nobody.
Yeah.
I thought that was I just if you go into it with that sort of mentality, it's like you don't.
Yeah, no, that's true. You can kind of to make a bit of a joke of it, and even Ronda Rousey, who more people know obviously as
Yeah,
being
exactly.
a complete dominating force in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So
Yes.
yeah, I hated this shit. Firstly, this went for 30 minutes.
It was
Believe it or
it was a
not.
way to get the. I thought it was a way to like hopefully make it dark enough for Undertaker's entrance.
Me too. I think that was what it was. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was pretty clearly that. Yet, you know what?
What?
If you have to book it around that, then you've booked the wrong time, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think that's the issue. Is that they could have moved this back an hour. They could have.
They should have. They should have.
But they didn't. I mean, it's a fucking it's a Sunday night. It's WrestleMania, guys. Go to bed 1 hour later. It's fine. Anyway, so this segment to me, this is what ruins Sting versus Triple H even more, is because it invalidated everything about that handshake. It comes out and he goes, I beat Sting. I'm such a like, we're the authority. We've already been on the show tonight. Well, Triple H, I'm going to be on the show again for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the show more than anyone else tonight.
It's just like this is the exact problem with when everyone sort of says, "Oh, I can't wait till Triple H takes over," because like on one hand, yeah, sure, Vince is an out of touch old hack, but like Triple H is like he's gonna people tire on that guy quickly, and it happened before, and they're currently back on his jock because of NXT. But you wait until when Vince dies, what Triple H is going to do, like. He's just, I know, I felt like that whole promo to me was just really just self-serving. It just doesn't, like, I get that's what the heels are meant to do. They're meant to be arrogant and we're the authority, but where's the authority angle going?
Yeah, where is it going?
It seems like this, like, it's like a bunch of Tumblr people have, like written Stephanie McMahon's character and, like, we need strong female characters, and then they kind of make them like emasculate every man and be like, yeah, what are you gonna do, slap me because I'm a girl, like that kind of shit, which there's nothing worse than that double standard there where it's like, oh yeah, slap me, and then I've got someone that will, and then of course Stone Cold comes up, no, I'm just kidding.
By the way, even when Ronda Rousey comes in the ring, she hip tosses Triple H, sure, but she doesn't actually do anything like properly physical to Stephanie McMahon. She gets her in some kind of like arm lock thing that doesn't look like it hurts much at all. And then the segment's over. What did it do? What was the point?
All of it did nothing. All of it did was, I'm pretty sure it sets up a potential Rock versus Triple H.
Well, I think that's what we're gonna get next year.
Oh my God.
I'm
not
very
watching. I'm adamant. I'm going to say this. If that match does take place next year, I will not be watching the match.
Do you want me to tell you when that match should have taken place? 2000 at WrestleMania 16. That's when that match should have taken place. It should have been The Rock versus Triple H in a singles match. Instead, they turned it into a fucking fatal four-way match with the Big Show, once again proving the Big Show ruins everything. Um, now, John Cena defeated Rusev in a US title match.
You know, I'm just gonna say this. Rusev is very entertaining.
Oh, Rusev, my brother's a Rusev mark. Yeah.
That is the simple fact about this guy.
His facial
Honestly,
reactions are amazing.
yeah, he is like, when we're being technical, we're saying, oh, great face, great technical ability. Rusev is entertaining. Period. Like, the guy entertains me. His mannerisms, his facial expressions, his entrance, like, he's just good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's just good. That's as simple as that. And to think, just quickly, that his whole career could have been ruined. He could have not even been on this main roster if it wasn't for that scumbag piece of shit Bill DeMott.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think when he had a serious neck injury, the guy would have actually debuted way earlier. But he had a serious neck injury, had to have surgery and all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you imagine? Imagine that. Imagine if we didn't have Rusev. Honestly, this card would be in a much worse position.
Oh, Rusev was a MVP of this card.
Oh,
like, seriously. First of all, that was an amazing entrance they had with him, with the whole Russian army with the cannons and the tank and everything, and then the flag being carried down by the soldiers with Lana carrying the title. That made the title feel like it was a big deal.
Exactly, and see, Rusev made the title feel like something. Cena is going to treat it like it's another part. It's a fucking piece of his merch. Like, you do know what's going to happen with the US title. Now Cena's going to get shipped with the title, as part of his, like, with like his merchandise. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Please tell me they get a spinner belt. I want a spinner US title belt.
Oh, a spinner belt, classic. Yeah, I don't know if they'll do that. Maybe they will. I mean, I don't know. The match itself was just kind of okay, but at the same time, I was really rooting for Rusev.
Yeah, I knew he wouldn't win though.
No, neither.
I mean, did you even think for a second he was going to win this match?
Nope.
No,
not for a second.
Which, I mean, maybe that's why it didn't bother me as much. I thought it was a very weak source, like a very weak attitude adjustment that he pinned him with.
That was ridiculous. That, like, the ending again negates my happiness again. Again, that's the thing. The ending of.
Hey, hold on a second. I just realized something. This was the exact same finish as last year's match with John Cena. Think about it. Rusev, like, sort of like he bounces off the rope, hits into his partner, and then gets caught in the attitude adjustment. Remember the same thing happened last year?
Yeah.
Where like they bumped into like Rowan and Harper, and then he caught him in the attitude adjustment. Yeah. Anyway, it was okay. I mean, I thought the match was fine. It wasn't tremendous. It didn't have any like amazing moments or anything I'm going to remember from like, I didn't see Fastlane, so I didn't see that match. Maybe that was better than this one. I was glad they gave him some time, and I just think it made Rusev look like a star. And
but I still thought that he was a bit. I still feel like he was a little bit bitchified when it only took compare that to Roman Reigns. It took the amount of finishes he took, and then like just Cena being Rusev just being out like that just kind of annoys me a little bit. Like his undefeated streak is over now.
Yeah, well, I mean, to us true Rusev fans, it was over a while ago when Adrian Neville beat him.
When?
In NXT.
Oh yeah.
He beat him in NXT when he was in this gimmick as well.
What year was that?
2014, last year.
Yeah, so I guess yeah.
Just before it came
main roster, not main roster only. Then yeah, he's undefeated, but everything he's not. No, because Ziggler beat him in NXT as well.
Oh yes, that's true. Yes.
So, but yeah, anyway, so the point is that I don't know, like. I thought that it was, Cena, I guess, had to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the patriotic promo made me want to throw up.
Oh, that was disgusting. That was the most hateful part of this show for me. One of the most hateful. Just watching that, it was like, oh God. For not only do you have to sing "America the Beautiful," but you have to have this as well.
What is wrong? This is going to get a lot of hate. What is wrong with you guys, America? What is wrong with you guys? Like,
sense of undeserved patriotism, if you ask me. I just don't understand. Like, I've said this is my like sort of stance on patriotism. It's fine to be like proud of the country you live in, but don't try to claim it's people's achievements in the past as your own. It is only by a massive like random chance that you were actually born in the country that you're born in anyway.
You can be proud for their actions. You can be proud of what they've done. You
Yeah.
can be proud of the nation. You can be proud of their past. But it's like you can even acknowledge it. But it's all about the way that you do it, and they do it as if they directly like caused it or something. Like, yeah, guys, we're America,
We
and we did
landed
it
the man.
together.
We killed the Nazis. We did this. We did that. We tore down the wall. It's like, what? Okay, fine.
Like, and what does that have to do with wrestling?
Wait, what is it?
You
John Cena? What John Cena did he actually like shoot Adolf Hitler or something?
Yeah, like it just
That way
pisses me off that the biggest pop of the night of the Hall of Fame goes to a fucking veteran. Like, who cares? Like, sorry guys, but like at the end of we're gonna be hated for this, honestly. But at the end of the day, who cares? Like, it's got nothing to do with wrestling. It'd be like me popping for Jaden Smith.
Who?
You know what I mean? Like me, like the biggest pop of the night, Jaden Smith coming out with Will Smith and going, "What's popping?" You know, and everyone go, "Yeah, yeah, that's right, yeah." You know,
No,
like,
well,
who the fuck?
I don't know. As Australian citizens, we don't really have much of a sense of like identity as our nation because our nation's only like 114 years old.
Yeah.
So like we
Yeah.
can't we didn't have any sort of like revolution where we like defeated the British or anything. So we just don't understand what it's like to sort of look at your country as a singly independent state that fought for itself and became its own thing without like the assistance of like you know how Australia became its own thing? A bunch of guys got together and decided that they were going to sign a piece of paper and then they were going to all sit in a big office and they were going to have people sit in chairs and vote on things ourselves.
Yeah.
That's how we decided. We didn't have any massive bloody war or anything. It was just like, let's federate ourselves. Anyway, this is beside the point. Rusev versus John Cena was a fine match. I think it went on in probably the wrong spot in the card. This is probably where Triple H and Sting should have gone on. I just felt like Triple H and Sting going on like third was a bit of a slap in the face, even more so. It just.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, we forgot even to mention.
Yeah.
Guys, Sting lost.
Oh yeah.
Sting comes back and he jobs.
Yeah, I mean, like that was just. What was the point of that?
Triple H.
I honestly think this is the last we've seen of Sting. I don't think we'll see him again for, if ever,
Wow.
maybe. I definitely don't think they're doing Sting versus Undertaker, and I do not want to see it anymore.
Do you know that the crowd started to chant for NXT?
Yeah, I heard that actually.
What that was what?
That was that was after that match. That was like before the Bray Wyatt Undertaker match. No,
It's gonna be big.
Yeah, that was just like the crowd was just chanting.
NXT is it is taking over.
It is Bray Wyatt Undertaker.
Yeah, this was worrying because the dirt sheets had said that Bray Wyatt was injured before the match.
Oh, did they?
Apparently he got injured during training. Yeah, I was speculating. I was like, shit, maybe they're waiting a long time. One, they want the darkness. Two, because they bloody want, like Bray to, like, because apparently he had a sprained ankle or something. Anyway, so this is the biggest match that just completely had the issue of the crowd slash not crowd, sorry, the arena. This is where we needed 76,000 people with their phones out, making the Bray Wyatt like kind of Fireflies thing. That's what we needed. Like none of it. You know how like the whole point of Bray and Taker is that they're kind of like supernatural kind of
Dark
freaks,
nightcaps.
dark kind of people. This just made them look like a bunch of weirdos in different things. This kind of looked like Solomon Crow. Like just out of place. Yeah. Like I like Solomon Crow, but his gear is just really fucking weird. It was like that. Like it just made like their gear just look so out of place.
It just the Scarecrow thing was okay because at least they sort of like had a sort of, like something they could do at daytime and something that sort of like was okay. It's like an afternoon field kind of like thing. That's okay. You know what? I sort of spoiled myself when I watched this because I saw like a picture of like a print screen, like a screenshot of the Undertaker, like with Bray Wyatt in the Hell's Gate beforehand, sort of. Mm-hmm. And I noticed he had the short hair, so I thought we were going to see the Biker Taker come back. And my brother was like, if the Biker Taker comes back, I will legitimately cheer for this match. And we were both hoping it because that would be fine if it was a daytime match and the Undertaker with his biker gimmick came out.
He's a biker by day, dead man by night.
Exactly, but I mean, this felt very WrestleMania 9-ish with the Undertaker at daytime, which doesn't work at all. Like you can't have the bright outdoor sky with the purple and the dark black costume. It doesn't work. It sort of.
I mean, yeah.
It feels out of place. It feels like, first of all, it magnifies how old he looks when this light, the natural light, is on him. Because he looked fucking old here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He looked. Oh my god. But it also looked just comical. It looks like if you were to show a regular person this, they'd be like, "What the fuck's this shit?"
Yeah, because they're both not very fast workers.
This match didn't work for me at all, in the slightest. This was it wasn't as bad as last year's, but these two guys didn't click. I didn't get that sort of mystical past versus mystical present. They're two spooky characters in the supernatural from.
No, because you know what happened?
What?
Here's what happened.
What?
Right, and this is what people on the PW Torch, Pro Wrestling Torch podcast thing, like after show talking about. I was briefly listening to it,
Oh, yeah.
and they said that that was another big problem with the 30-minute Rousey Stephanie Rock segment. And by the way, I don't care for The Rock, so I didn't pop for his return.
Why were they so happy? They saw him like less than 3 months ago.
Like, I don't give a shit. Like, to be honest, I'm going to be honest. Anyway, think about that. They went for 30 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you do know what happened there.
What?
It ends. Rock raises Ronda's arm as a crowd pops, his music plays. Bray Wyatt vs. Undertaker. We take a very quick break and come back to Bray Wyatt making his entrance. Now, are you missing something here, Angus?
The video package.
The video package.
Yeah, where was that?
It was gone.
That was a great
because
video.
The segment went for so long.
Oh.
The segment before went for so long. It dragged. Their reactions, right? The reactions, like the Stephanie, all that shit. It dragged on. Then they could not do the video package. Not only that, there was like a very quick break. Bray Wyatt, Bray almost got a jobber entrance in the way like it just kind of popped to his, it just picked to his entrance like immediately.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing happened. What? This match needed the bloody build and it needed the bloody video package because the feud was made out of nothing.
Yeah, the feud was made out of one guy who was there every week trying to do a feud with a guy who was never there because he was not contractually obligated to be there. This was what?
And who won?
The guy who wasn't contractually obligated to be there. Now, you know what? This would have been fine if they built something up, something tangible, so I could say, okay, well, The Undertaker's back now. This has a reason to it. What's the fucking bet? We won't see Undertaker for, like, another, like, year. 11 months, something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, like, this does nothing for either guy. This does nothing for Bray Wyatt. This basically brings him back to where he was. The Undertaker, at this point, obviously, this was the double-edged sword here. You have Undertaker lose this match. Therefore, anyone can feasibly beat him. You have Bray Wyatt lose this match. He drops
what
back
happens
again.
He jobs second WrestleMania. I mean, yeah, sure, he's had some two very high-profile matches for his Mania, but it's still... And also, this is pretty controversial, but I'd almost rather a no contest. That way, no one technically... I mean, that doesn't seem like the type of match that would give a no contest, but, like, to me... Bray losing again. Where
Especially
does it take him?
in such a easy manner.
Yeah.
Like The Undertaker, like basically his gimmick at this point is he's fucking old, right?
Yeah.
That's his gimmick. His gimmick is that he gets tired easily, he gets beaten down easily, he takes a majority of the match, you know. And then, yeah, I mean, there was one spot in this match where they did the spider thing in the sit-up. Something, I mean, obviously I expected them to do this, and I think I said last week's podcast as well that they'd probably do this.
Yeah.
It was okay. The fact that, like, the Undertaker's reaction when Bray Wyatt kicked out of the tombstone was cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that bit of, like, kind of humanize it, like, oh, shit.
But the thing about that is everyone at WrestleMania kicks out of the tombstone, so...
That's true.
Maybe he was
it's
like...
not a surprise, but it's like... I don't know, I mean... The thing is that, yeah, but you know why he was surprised? Because Wyatt kind of looked like a chump the whole time.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe he just didn't expect Wyatt to kick out at all. Maybe he thought it was easy. Hey, maybe. Now here's a thought. Maybe you know how Undertaker has like usually like 4 appearances before Mania, then he's at Mania. Maybe they're sort of saving those appearances to after Mania. Maybe. Maybe he'll like instead have his like he'll show up on Raw every week now until Extreme Rules or something and have a rematch. Maybe. It's a possibility.
It is a possibility. That would be not bad, but I mean, if we're talking about Mania as a singular event, not having a video package and having a very kind of quick, underwhelming, at nighttime, like not at nighttime event, just to me kind of like sort of just annoys me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just fell flat to me. I was kind of a bit bored watching it, like
yeah, me too. I was it didn't work for me for just because I didn't get the feud. I didn't get why Undertaker had a problem with Bray Wyatt. They didn't on commentary they didn't reiterate. Sorry, but they didn't reiterate.
They did not tell stories. I thought Vince McMahon was in the business to tell stories.
But this match didn't tell a story either.
That's it, exactly.
This match was just a series of Undertaker doing a few moves, getting gassed, Bray Wyatt doing a few moves. Undertaker wins with a tombstone piledriver out of nowhere. Whatever. I mean, it does nothing for anyone. It does nothing for me. It does nothing for... This will be like one of those just... It's Undertaker coming back to WrestleMania after losing the streak. Who cares anymore is the big thing, and I just felt like that. I just felt going into this match... especially Undertaker coming out at daytime as well. I've said this before. Daytime was the biggest problem for a lot of things in this match, and it just made a lot of things feel like it was on the pre-show, just to be honest.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, Undertaker wins. Whoopity-doo. Let's move on to something I actually do want to talk about, and something I sort of have positive opinions about, maybe. Something that I actually feel good about talking about. It's the beautifully booked WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Because this is something that I thought was wonderful. Just wonderful. It's especially the fact that you sort of didn't predict that it would end with Seth Rollins defeating Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns to become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But at the same time, it wasn't something that you totally discounted. And did I not predict this sort of in our previous podcast where I said that Randy Orton would beat Seth Rollins early on in the show, setting up for then later on in the night a Seth Rollins cash-in?
Yeah.
I sort of predicted it, but
yeah, me too.
This was a great match because it gave us everything we wanted to see, really. It gave us Roman Reigns getting his ass kicked almost in a legit fight with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and Reigns laid back into him too, which is nice.
He did. Is there some like contractual thing with Brock Lesnar where if you get in a fight with him, you're allowed to hit him back and he's allowed to hit you?
I think Lesnar's like, dude, I'm gonna hit you so you can hit me.
Because a similar thing happens in the John Cena matches with him as well.
Yeah,
like
very
every
much
match
so.
with it's something that I really like about Lesnar is it when I say I'm embarrassed to show people, say, a Sting versus Triple H match, showing them a Brock Lesnar match is something you wouldn't be embarrassed about. Because it's something, my brother said this as well, he said, wrestling needs more Brock Lesnars and less Stings. Therefore, in more legit badasses and less fake badasses.
I mean, that's why a lot of people like Puro, like Japanese wrestling, is because they are hitting each other a lot harder, Like that's the strong style thing. Like I mean, think about it. I mean, Brock Lesnar worked in Japan as well.
Yeah,
so,
I mean this.
So he's used to strong style. He's used to Puro and that kind of stuff. He's used to real hits as well, like in the Octagon and the UFC. So the guy is kind of conditioned to that kind of thing. And I think it's as long as you can hang with him, then that's good. So,
and as soon as the music came on for Roman Reigns. Boos. Everyone booed. Universal booing.
Yeah.
People giving him the finger as he.
Yeah, I saw that. That was hilarious.
I
mean, this is like, say what you want about this main event. Yeah. You can be positive. That's your top face.
No, oh yeah. I mean, when I say
it's meant to be your top face.
When I say this was booked well, until like maybe the last like 3 minutes or so, this was a fiasco. Not a fiasco, but this is SummerSlam 2014. Brock Lesnar comes out to a huge ovation, universal cheers by everyone.
The heel.
As the heel, yes. They do the introductions. Brock Lesnar again. Paul Heyman comes and grabs the microphone and introduces him for him.
I mean, I think they are. I think he is playing to the crowd. I think recently Lesnar's been more face-ish
Yeah,
in terms of playing to the crowd, but still, even
but I
still.
mean, like, isn't defeating Undertaker's streak the ultimate heel move? But yeah, like I said, when Paul Heyman announces Brock Lesnar, that Paul Heyman gets a huge pop, and so does Brock Lesnar. When they announce Roman Reigns, again booed. And this match started in the most real-looking grappling fight I think we've ever seen, where Brock Lesnar actually got busted open, legit busted open
Yeah.
by Roman Reigns, and then it just turned into like a real, I would say, almost strong style match, probably,
Yeah.
if that's a fair thing to say. If people
Yeah.
aren't going to crucify me too much for that, seriously, like the knees to the ribs looked painful as fuck.
Yeah.
Like and I don't think Roman Reigns is that good of a seller. I think that legitimately hurt him. I
I
think
think so
I
too.
think both guys were legitimately hurt in this match. Lots of suplexes all over the place. Um, However, you know what? At no point during this match did I actually suspect Brock Lesnar of retaining the title at all. I was dead set that Roman Reigns was going to win this match, and even
Yeah.
though like there was tons of like I kept saying, well, watch, something's going to happen, and Brock Lesnar gets his head hit into the steel ring post, and then obviously Roman Reigns comes back a bit. It looks like he's going to win for a second, and then Seth Rollins
That
meets.
was pretty good scare tactic there
Were
with
you?
the spear and the spear. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, well, that's what you said. Two spears would take him down. I was thinking of what you said in the podcast, where you said, "Oh, if he gets two spears, then he's fucked." I was sort of thinking that, but then Seth Rollins comes out, cashes in, making it a triple threat match, and then almost immediately gets picked up in the F5 position by Brock Lesnar. At this point, I definitely thought Roman Reigns was going to win. I was like, "Yep, Roman Reigns has got this one now," and it's a way of getting the Money in the Bank off Seth Rollins and making Roman Reigns look strong, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking as all this was happening. But no, because Seth Rollins hits the curb stomp on Roman Reigns just after Roman Reigns spears Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, and gets the three and becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion. Something that I am not mad about in the slightest. That I'm not bothered by the fact that Seth Rollins became World Heavyweight Champion. That doesn't. I think that was a good decision. It was the decision that they needed as well.
Yeah, I think. I mean, but the thing is that for all the good
Mm.
about about Rollins winning, it all you got to think that again they called an audible.
Mm.
You know, if they had to keep doing that and then
Yeah.
making the build up be fucking shit, then just goddamn, like,
Although it's actually, I say it's good because it makes the World Heavyweight Champion
on the show now.
on the
Thank
show now.
fuck.
Negative to it though, I don't think the story was finished. I
No.
honestly I don't think Brock Lesnar losing in this manner, I think, totally undoes a lot of the previous 12
And not
months.
only does it undo that, it undoes everything they tried to
Mm.
build with Reigns.
Oh yeah, this is a full admission that Roman Reigns' main event run has been a failure.
Yeah, now here's the thing. There's going to be a few comments from Roman Reigns fans about like, oh, okay, for example, oh, well, like, and this is kind of in kayfabe, but like, oh, well, if Rollins was good, why wouldn't he just pin Brock or something like that? Like, why wouldn't you look strong as Brock? It's because one, there's like the whole dramatic thing about a Shield guy pinning a Shield guy. You've got that story, which I thought was cool. On
Yeah,
the other hand, Brock was also knocked out of the ring. Why would he want to pin Brock anyway?
yeah.
And also, like at the end of the day, Rollins, Rollins was, it's been very over recently, and to like Reigns, the problem is that if he won, there would have actually been a full scale riot
Hmm.
at the stadium. Like the thing is, it doesn't matter whether you think Reigns is good or not. Okay,
Yeah.
the crowd reaction is so visceral towards him. They have ruined him, right? And this is coming from a guy who okay, I didn't like his showing at the Royal Rumble 2014. When we were watching it together, I was like, I don't know about this. Like eliminating all these people. I don't know if you're going to push him too quick. They did, and the thing is that the guy had a good spot. He could have been like this solid spot in the mid card,
He could have
even in
easily.
the upper mid card. Now the boos are not going to escape him for a very long time.
Oh
They
yeah, no.
cannot push him to a title because he'll be booed. They cannot push him against a fan favorite heel because he will be booed. Basically, all they can push him to is Rusev,
Uh, you
which is
know,
how they should have pushed it in the first place.
the whole. I mean, like I said, this was almost the only decision that they could have made in hindsight. Looking at it now, Brock Lesnar winning, I would have been very happy with. That would have been my ideal situation. But obviously, can you continue having the title occasionally on the show from here on out? Can you have it on the show maybe once every month or so? Can you have it like once every month and a half? Can you have it, you know? I think that having Rollins, be on the show as the champion every week is a good thing.
I like it.
I'm happy with that. Ideally, that's not the most logical decision because I think story wise,
Because yeah, storyline wise, as we said in the other podcast, this was all meant to be about the journey of Reigns,
yeah,
and then
it's
it was
it's
sweet, and it wasn't like the Daniel Bryan screwed, like oh Reigns got screwed. It was like yeah, fuck you, man, you got screwed in a good way, and that's not what you want. You want the crowd to be sympathetic to Reigns. They didn't give a fuck
no,
about what happened to him.
they were
They
quite
didn't
happy.
care.
Reigns is an afterthought at this point, and
Oh, I actually feel bad for him because like like he is not going to escape this. Batista, right? Think about what happened to him. He got booed basically 1 week,
yeah,
pretty much, and that was it. Done.
oh yeah,
Booed the whole time. Booed the entire time.
booed at
Reigns,
WrestleMania by
Reigns,
everyone.
Reigns is going to be booed by the crowd tomorrow night if he's even there. He was booed on a absolutely grand international stage of WrestleMania, which everyone knows about. The casual crowds always follow on, basically. Batista wasn't hated by those little kids, you know
No,
what I mean, when he won the Rumble in 2014, but the little kids started booing him because everyone else did. And
yeah,
then they started to notice his flaws more. And and like Batista was getting gassed. And then people found these reasons to hate Batista. And it's the same thing with Reigns. People like kind of latched onto the hate, and then they started to go, well, actually, like this guy, like he doesn't have a big massive move set. He kind of flubs his promos. He's not that interesting. He hasn't had much character development, and then that's the spiral that leads him to getting all this heat. So he won't be able to escape
in
it.
fact, how many moves did he hit in this match? Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, not many.
I'll tell you how many he hit. He Superman punch. He hit his spear, and he hit some kind of clothesline attempt thing.
Oh yeah, he did that, and
But
yeah.
that was it. That was all he hit. It just storyline. I'm pissed. Logically, I'm pissed, but I don't know. It's like I'm happy with the result because it's a result that feasibly, if they didn't go with Rollins here and they went with Reigns, then all hell would have broken loose. But at the same time, Reigns winning made the most sense from a kayfabe point of view. But at the same time, Brock Lesnar losing doesn't make sense because of the whole storyline built up. It was the best of a bad situation, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably
That's
the way to put it.
WrestleMania 31, the best of a bad situation. This was a piss poor WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I feel
cannot believe that Dave Meltzer thought this was one of the best of all time.
did he really?
He thought this was one of the best shows ever booked.
God, no, this was from start to finish. It was. I'll tell you exactly how it was. It was meh, good, terrible, eh, eh, eh. The match of the night goes to Randy Orton and Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I'd probably say this.
You know what? I said it was an okay match. That was match of the night. Because would you call Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns a match? It was more of a segment, really.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they only gave them pretty much, I think the match time was like 16 minutes in total.
Yeah.
Right, shows just how much lack of faith they end up having by the end of it.
Yeah,
Like how much faith they had
and you
by
know
the
what
end.
you said about how Roman Reigns can't carry a match and neither can Brock Lesnar. They just turned this into a sort of like a slugfest, basically a remake of SummerSlam 2014.
I mean, and also another quick thing is just how many bloody finishes Reigns took.
Oh yeah,
This is meant to be a guy who's been around for a few years. Like Cena taking that many. was with F5s. Like it pisses me off, but I can kind of see it. But they made, I mean, like people saying, "Oh, I feel too bad for Roman." He did basically kick out of murder.
He
You
did
know what I mean?
basically
Like
kick
he
out of
looked strong.
more than Undertaker took.
Yeah, he took more than Undertaker took. He took basically, almost basically, like very similar to Cena. I'm pretty sure. So,
This was bad, people. This was a really just bad WrestleMania. That this had nothing. Not this will be a largely forgettable show.
overall,
You know,
yeah,
I said that Randy Orton and Seth Rollins was the best match, but this is this match doesn't compare to anything on last year's show. This would be a okay match on last year's show.
yeah,
WrestleMania 30 was heads and shoulders are better than this. Everything from the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal to the main event to the opening match of the show, everything on that show did something. It told a story. This show, Sting vs Triple H told no story. Undertaker vs Bray Wyatt told no story. John Cena vs Rusev told a story that we've heard a bazillion times before. Seth Rollins vs Brock Lesnar vs Roman Reigns was a way out of a bad situation. Randy Orton vs
again,
John Cena, Randy Orton vs Seth Rollins was functional, and the ladder match was cluttered. The tag match was what it was, and the women's match was nothing much either. That's WrestleMania 31 in a nutshell. If you haven't seen this show and you're for some reason just listening to our podcast, don't go out of your way to see anything on this show. There was nothing.
yeah.
Worth
Watch the ending. Watch, uh, watch. Oh yeah, and a completely and also just a poorly managed, poor venue in terms of like timing. Poorly managed, poor venue, poor middle promo, poor match amount, like amount of matches, and just in general, something. I mean, basically, all I say is that it could have been much worse, and it wasn't.
Yeah, well, it
But
could
it
have been.
still
It could have
wasn't
been
that
worse.
great.
But yeah, precisely. This was nothing. This was worse than WrestleMania 29. This was worse than WrestleMania 27.
Ooh.
I am standing by that because at least WrestleMania 27 had that Randy Orton versus CM Punk match on it, which was okay. At least Triple H versus Undertaker told the story.
Yeah.
At least the main event built up to something for the full year. At least Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio was quite good. It had a pretty good World Heavyweight Championship match on it. Actually, the more I think about it, the better WrestleMania 27 looks. When WrestleMania 27 is supposed to be a shitty card.
Yeah.
You know what? This is the third worst WrestleMania in history. No, fourth worst. Fourth worst WrestleMania.
You reckon?
I'll tell you. Do you want me to tell you what the four worst are?
11, 9.
This is the fourth worst. The third worst is 11. The second worst is 9, and the worst is WrestleMania 4.
Oh yeah, 4.
Because 4 was shit. Anyway, I should probably do like a ranking of all the WrestleManias because I think I could probably do that actually. Maybe one day.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Maybe one day I'll do a separate video where I rank all the WrestleManias. Anyway, that was WrestleMania 31, WrestleMania Play Button, WrestleMania Meh. That's probably the best name for this.
WrestleMania, we won fans back somehow because we did one thing right.
Yeah.
Just you watch Reddit and all that sort of stuff. They'll be like, oh,
if like, people are circle jerking about how great this show was, is this how far people are like
apologetic towards WWE.
No, this is how far people's expectations of what good is. This is how far their like standards have dropped.
Yeah.
If you think that this was a
flat out.
If Dave Meltzer I don't understand how Dave Meltzer of all people could think this is a good show.
I mean, this guy, yeah. Anyway, that's a topic for another thing. We'll be right back with the Raw after WrestleMania, which will inevitably be a lot more positive because people will chant things like Daniel Bryan and, Smark shit. That's why. So inevitably, we're going to be more. The Raw after WrestleMania is pretty much always fun.
Yeah, actually, okay. Moment of the show. The only thing I will remember mostly from this show is the awesome finish to Randy Orton versus Seth.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what stands out in my opinion, and maybe that's the only.
Rusev's entrance, I'd say.
And Rusev's entrance. Those are the two things you should go out of your way to see if you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Nothing. No matches though. Just.
You know what? You can just gif the Randy Orton.
Oh, can you? Yeah, if there's
there's like plenty of GIFs about it now.
Okay, well, fuck it. We just watch the GIF. Anyway, thank you for listening, and we shall see you all later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.